This is your Adventist News Update, a service of the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. I'm Andrea Musgrove. Coming up in the news, Bible Boom Champion for Atv named. 60 youth lead in prayer walk through their community. And 2015 declared the Year of the Pastor. These stories and more on this week's Adventist News Update. This is your Adventist News Update. Thank you for joining us for this week's broadcast. The North Bahamas Conference has yet again emerged as the victors in the Atlantic Caribbean Union's Waylon Johnson Bible Boom competition. Last weekend, the event was hosted by the Turks and Caicos Islands Mission at the Maranatha High School in Providenciales. A number of participants from throughout the Union took part in the Bible Challenge. Among them were Alexandria Scott and Kentalisha Price from the South Bahamas, Cheyanda Eskerman of the North Bahamas, Cheyenne Newell from the Cayman Islands, and Samuel Nemours from the Turks and Caicos Islands. At the end of the competition, Samuel Nemours and Cheyanda Eskerman were tied with a score of 400 points. However, Eskerman of the North Bahamas Conference emerged as the winner due to her winning time. And in second was Samuel Nemours from Turks and Caicos, Cheyenne Newell in third from the Cayman Islands, and Alexandria Scott representing the South Bahamas was fourth. Shanaida Eskerman will represent Atv at the Bible Boom Finals for the Inter-American Division at the Youth Congress in Guatemala City on Saturday, August 2nd, 2014. And continuing with the youth, the young people of the Turks and Caicos Islands Mission will long remember the weekend of May 23rd to the 25th as a time when the youth of that region gathered for its third ABC prayer conference. That's Ask, Believe, and Claim. One of the highlights of the weekend was the gathering of over 60 youth from a prayer walk and rally in the Five Keys community. They met with their peers and other individuals in the community and conducted prayers on the streets, in homes, and business places. As a result of the weekend's activities, 6 persons gave their hearts to the Lord and were baptized. The event was held along with an annual investiture service where 15 pathfinders, 28 adventurers, and 8 master guides were invested. The youth director of the Atlantic Caribbean Union, Pastor Andrew Burrows, gave the charge to the investees, pointing the young people to a God of grace. The youth got an encouraging boost from the weekend's experience and look forward to other opportunities to share the love of God. And here's this week's historic question. So take a try at the history of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in the Bahamas and be sure to text your answer to the number below.
The historic question of the day is, who was the third Bahamian president of the Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists? Was it A, Pastor Neville Scavala, B, Pastor L.V. McMillan, or C, Pastor H.A. Roach?
When we come back after this short break, more news about what's happening in our division of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
On Wednesday, June 4, 2014, the Atlantic Caribbean Union of Seventh-day Adventists will be having its Mid-Year Symposium 2014. Come hear great reports from each field in our union as well as Northern Caribbean University. Come hear great music, and come hear from our guest speaker, Pastor Orville Parchment, Assistant to the Adventist World Church President. Atlantic Caribbean Union's Mid-Year Symposium 2014, Hillview Seventh-day Adventist Church, Tonique Williams Darling Highway, Nassau, Bahamas. Wednesday, June 4th at 7 p.m. That's Wednesday, June 4th at 7 p.m. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to News Update. Celebrating the ministry of the pastor will be a major focus next year throughout the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Inter-America. The declaration came as the Inter-American Division administrators launched the Year of the Pastor during the opening session of its annual mid-year business meetings. The summit that was held from May 19 to the 22nd at the division's headquarters in Miami, Florida, began with a special ordination service. 4 pastors from 4 different unions throughout the IAD were ordained in this special ceremony, which was carried live via the internet. Another highlight during the meetings was the awarding of the education directors from across the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Inter-America. The event recognized directors and university presidents for their commitment to Adventist education in the management of the 910 primary and secondary schools and 14 universities across the IAD. Dr. Cheryl Roll, Education Director for the Atlantic Caribbean Union Mission, was one of the educators who received awards for committed service through this ministry. During the 4-day business meetings, leaders also reported on initiatives reached, upgraded missions to conference status, approved resources, and voted on activities and initiatives to take place in 2015 during the Year of the Pastor. The administration from the Atlantic Caribbean Union represented this region at the meetings. And in upcoming events in the South Bahamas Conference, a retreat hosted by the Children's Ministry Department of the South Bahamas Conference for Sabbath school teachers, church leaders, and teaching professionals began this Friday, May 30th, and will continue to the 1st of June at the Paradise Island Harbor Resort. The international speakers for the Congress include Dr. Linda Coe and Denora Rivera of the General Conference and the Inter-American Division, along with Dr. Cheryl Roll of the Atlantic Caribbean Union. The theme for the conference is Leaders with a Mission. And the Atlantic Caribbean Union will be hosting its annual Mid-Symposium on Wednesday, June 4th at 7 p.m. at the Hillview Seventh-day Adventist Church on Tonique Williams Darling Highway. This is a time when the entire membership of the union will be given the opportunity to view the reports from the 4 fields of the union, namely the North and South Bahamas Conferences, the Turks and Caicos Islands Mission, and the Cayman Islands Conference, along with the Northern Caribbean University. This will be a joint meeting for all churches on New Providence. The speaker for the event will be Pastor Orville Parchment, Assistant to the Adventist World Church President. The event will also be broadcast live via the internet. And this Whit Monday, June 9th, get moving with the South Bahamas Conference in conjunction with Health Ministries and ASI in a national 8-mile fun run walk beginning at 6 a.m. from the Western Esplanade to Sandyport and back. So get your team together and get moving, because the largest group registered will receive a special award. Camp Meeting 2014 is fast approaching on Sabbath, June 21st at the Hillview Seventh-day Adventist Church. At 4 p.m., camp meeting will begin. The services will continue at this venue at 7:15 each evening until Thursday, June 26th. On Friday, June 27th and Sabbath, June 28th, camp meeting will transition to the Kendall Isaacs Gym opposite the National Sports Stadium. Speakers and workshop facilitators include Frank Leggett from the Allegheny East Conference, Donald Roll from the Central States Conference, Vincent Duncombe from Barron Springs, Michigan, Danny Shelton from 3ABN, and Carlton Bird from the Breath of Life telecast. The featured musical artist will be Seventh Element. So make plans now for Camp Meeting 2014. You're not going to want to miss that. Northern Caribbean University is the Seventh-day Adventist tertiary institution in this region, located in Mandeville, Jamaica. On Sabbath, May 31st, the institution will host a project stay where Adventists, persons in the community, alumni, and friends of NCU will be introduced to the different initiatives of the university. Here in the Atlantic Caribbean Union, members are being asked to make a special contribution to NCU on that day. Recently, during the weekend of May 16th to the 18th, the Turks and Caicos Islands Mission held its Adventist Education Education Forum. This was combined with a visit from Pastor Bilton Clark, coordinator for the university's Capital Advancement Project Secretariat, and the university's public relations team. The team visited the Adventist churches on Providencialis, the Maranatha Academy, and the island's non-Seventh-day Adventist high schools, promoting the quality, affordable education offered at NCU. Northern Caribbean University has and continues to provide quality tertiary education in this region and is jointly owned and operated by the Jamaica and Atlantic Caribbean Unions. For more news and information details on these upcoming events, see the logos on the conference website at www.southbahamasconference.org or visit the South Bahamas Conference Facebook page to view our ATV 53 news update.
Do you take your feet seriously? Your foot health can be a clue to your overall health. For example, joint stiffness could mean arthritis. Tingling or numbness could be a sign of diabetes. Swelling might indicate kidney disease, heart disease, or high blood pressure. To keep your feet healthy, examine your feet regularly. Also, have the sense of feeling and pulses in your feet checked by a professional at least once a year. Wear comfortable shoes that fit. Never wear vinyl or plastic shoes because they don't stretch or breathe. When buying shoes, make sure they are comfortable from the start and have enough room for your toes. Don't buy shoes with pointed toes or high heels. They put too much pressure on your toes. Wash your feet daily with soap and lukewarm water. Trim your toenails straight across and be sure not to cut them too short. Keep the blood flowing to your feet. Here are some things that can prevent proper circulation. 1. Letting your feet hang or crossing your legs for long periods of time. 2. The wearing of tight socks, elastic or rubber bands around your legs. And 3. The bad habit of smoking. To exercise your toes, wiggle them for 5 minutes 2 or 3 times a day. Move your ankles up and down and in and out to improve blood flow in your feet and legs. Remember, good foot care and regular foot checks are an important part of your health care. If you have foot problems, be sure to talk to your doctor because it's important to put your best foot forward. Be kind to your feet and they will take you places. I'm April McPhee, and this has been your health tip courtesy of Adventist Television and the Health Ministries Department of the South Bahamas Conference.
We now go to the Record in Focus Christian News magazine for news from around the world.
After 34 years in service, a medical ship operated by Youth with a Mission is being retired and replaced by a $6.5 million catamaran, the MV Amari. The new ship will work throughout the islands of Papua New Guinea, providing medical services, health advice and community development to remote coastal communities. The MV Amari can accommodate up to 100 people and will be outfitted with an operating theatre, dental clinic, outpatient facility, laboratory and lecture room. YWAM has obtained the ship under a lease-to-buy arrangement and needs to raise 5.5 million Aussie dollars to finalise the purchase.
The historic question of the day was, who was the third Bahamian president of the Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists? The correct answer is C, Pastor H.A. Roach. On August 21, 1980, at the 4th session of the Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, Pastor H.A. Roach was voted in as conference president, succeeding Pastor L.V. McMillan.
So this past weekend, the Bahamas hosted the IAAF World Relays, and by all accounts, it was a grand success. The athletes got sand in their shoes and wanted to stay longer and can't wait to come back to paradise. Like the millions who visit our shores every year, they raved about the warmth of the people, the beauty of the island, and the rhythm and sounds and tastes of our culture. You know, sometimes we need to save the plane ticket money and stay home and enjoy the tourist experience. Might just remind you about how tremendously blessed we are to live where God lives, in the Bahamas. On behalf of the production team of Adventist Television, it was our pleasure bringing you this week's news update. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andrea Musgrove for the South Bahamas Conference Media Network.